Going into Heatmaps. Now, this is available on any distribution metric, and it's available on any span query. And the cool thing here, well, I'll show you the heat map first. You can access it simply by opening a chart, going to View As, and changing the visualization type to a heat map. And you'll see that we render this really beautiful heat map pretty quickly. We've got trace exemplars built in. And of course, you still have access to things like analyze deviations. I can click on this, I can zoom in, and I can let Lightstep kind of analyze the underlying data and spit out those hypotheses for me to go explore. But the cool thing that I think exists here is we can do some things that are wholly unique. So I can come in and group by customer. And now I've got all of my customers here below in a chart. Now there is a new feature, export to CSV, that comes kind of as an Easter egg alongside this. So I can export this data quickly and share it. But I can also come in and turn these off, or let's see, turn off a bunch of these and say, maybe I only want to, excuse me, I only want to look at the distribution for pro wool. And now from here, I've got access to pro wool traces. Maybe I want to do the same for Arbor Lily, and I want to just start comparing these things together. This is the level of functionality that Honeycomb does not have. If you wanted to get to this level, you would only see little tiny bar charts. If you go back to our tech from 2 weeks ago, you'll see only these little tiny bar charts or distribution charts beneath the individual attributes you'd have to go and look at and try and find. With Lightstep, you can just click on the things that you want to understand, and we'll let you kind of have that flexibility. And the thing that I'm really excited about is just this workflow in general of being able to query for something and then being able to visualize it in a different way. Like, the whole purpose of observability is to enable developers to ask questions, to identify an issue, and to figure out why that happened. And that's recursive. So we're just going to keep doing that. That's going to uncover more issues, more questions. And the faster that we can let folks kind of pivot their searches to visualize data in a different way to find what's interesting to them, the better off we're going to be, the better off our customers are going to be. And this interface in particular, that I can make a query, I can start changing the visualization type, I can always access analyze deviation to get kind of that insight into where to go next, is really powerful. And if you look forward a little bit on our roadmap, we're adding as another chart type next quarter, service and operation diagrams. So now imagine a world where we come in, we write a query, we group by customer, we look at a heat map that shows us maybe one customer who's having a bit worse experience than others. So we filter our query to look just at that customer, and we visualize it as a service diagram. And we can see within just a couple of clicks how we go from looking at millions of traces, viewing it as a chart, changing the way we look at it using our high cardinality attribution, and then ultimately seeing where those things are falling off across our entire distributed stack. That's wholly differentiated. It's something that nobody else is even considering right now. And we're not at that vision yet, but the introduction of heat maps and this idea that we can start to pivot our trace queries and have more flexibility with how we look at things is, I think, a really exciting place for us to be.